Hello people, here is my HoBao VS2 car. That was a Nitro car, but I decided to convert it to electric. No worries, I already bought a new Nitro, as you saw me driving. The HPI Trophy Buggy 4.6, Trophy Truggy 4.6. But I want to convert this to electric. The HoBao don't support the electric starter, so you either have to use the pull starter or the box, what they call it. Yeah, you know, it's starter box. But I don't want to carry with me a starter box. It's more easy to just carry the RotoStarter then, I think. So I ordered and I just received the parts I need to convert this to electric. I decided to do it the easy way. I know you can of course drill new holes in the chassis and still use the Nitro chassis. But I decided to order the parts I need. And this is what I got left after I sold the rest of the Nitro parts. So I sold the Nitro engine. And yeah, the other parts. So this is HPI spare engine I got. That's for the 4.6 car, the new one. But I sold this just the HoBao Hyper 21 engine with the pipe and everything. And I sold the chassis, and I sold some spare parts I also had. I don't remember how much I got from these parts, but I think it was about enough to buy at least the new parts I need. So here we have the complete rear part, and it's easy to disassemble. It's just 4 screws here. These 4 screws plus 2 screws also there, and one for the chassis, rear chassis brace, I think we call it, the chassis support, that one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws there to disassemble this complete part. Then you have this side guards, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in each of these, and you have to unscrew the center diff. So this is the center diff, and then you have the front part. And let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws, 9 screws. So you also have these 2 steering screws and the front chassis support screws. So you can unscrew it completely like this, so it will be easy to assemble again. You don't have to take apart everything here or here. Just the screws that goes into the chassis. So this is the parts I kept. The rear part, front part, center diff, side guards. The rest of the things I sold, including some spare parts I had for the Nitro also. And with that money I could buy these new parts for the electric that I must have. This is the chassis for the electric Hyper VS2. It's number 85099. 85099 it says. Chassis. Then we have this is the receiver box and the servo mount. This is 90059. Then we have the motor mount and center diff. It's also the mount for center diff. And this is 90057. And then we have the battery box or battery tray. It's 90060. So that's just 4 parts that you must have, more or less. At least what I bought. And the parts are sold, including the engine and a bit more parts there. was enough to let me buy these parts. But then of course you also have to have a receiver. I also sold the receiver. Oh no, I maybe just took it from the Nitro car. Yes, this is from the Nitro car, of course. It's a Spectrum SR215. It's an alright receiver. Good range. And I had a steering servo. This is a power HD. It's what it's called here, WH 20 kilo, and it takes from 6 to 8.4 volt, so I can use directly 2S battery, LiPo battery. But that's not what I'm gonna do now, because I of course also have to have the ESC and a motor, and for that I'm just using from an Arma car. This is taken from an Arma EXP car. It's the Spectrum 150 amp, and it's the engine is a Spectrum Firma 2050 kV. This is enough speed for me, really. Absolutely. And I checked. I think the pitch of the spur gear is the same as Arma is using for the pinions. I don't remember what they call it. Is it called Mod 1 or something like that? Mod 1. So I'm gonna use, I think I'm gonna use a 16 tooth pinion on this car now. So it's gonna be plenty fast. I don't remember how much. Maybe something like the Italian or something, about 100 kilometers per hour, I believe. And that's plenty enough for the type of driving I'm gonna do. We are just doing some basher racing on asphalt and on gravel and sand, grus, yes, like a soccer team, soccer, what is called, yeah, where they play football or soccer, you know. So now I'm gonna assemble the parts, and I'm gonna stop when I have the engine and the ESC electronics left. So I'm gonna assemble this now and see if it works okay. So I come back later when I have assembled these parts. Thank you. One thing, this is the front of the car. This is the front part, of course. You have to take out this aluminium part there in here and flip it around. So this chassis support there, chassis brace, is moved a bit to the left, because if you see here, it will not mount here. So when you flip it, the piece here will come a bit longer there, so it will mount there. It's mounted like this on a Nitro car because you have the fuel tank here, so it's not room space for this brace out there. Therefore you have it mounted here. So that's one of the difference between the electric and a Nitro. But it's the same piece. Just take out this, turn it around, and yeah, get it over there. I will also start to mount the motor mount and the center diff first. I like to start here. Then I will start after that I will take the front part and the rear part. Yes. Thanks. I just mounted the motor mount and the center diff now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, 4 millimeter diameter per every one. So you have 4 of them. You just need one other screw. So just check when this is mounted that it's turned freely, nothing binding, and remember to use some threadlock glue on these screws since it's metal to metal. So this is a start. Now I'm going to mount probably the front part, then the rear part. So come back later. Yeah, I'm now soon finished to mount the front part there. Everything did go as planned. just remember to turn this metal plate there so you get this chassis support more to the left side. As you can see, it's now. On the rear I have the screws there, and I think I used the thread lock glue on everyone. And I'm going to mount the RPM bumper, front bumper here. This I showed also in the Nitro video. It's I could use the holes in the rear here, just have to widen them a little bit, but they fit. Just have to drill 2 new holes in the front. So I just mount the bumper here. That's easy peasy. Thank you. I'm working on mounting this bumper, and I stripped one of the screws here, so I cannot get the screw to sit tight there. One solution is just to cut some plastic from some spare parts you have and put it inside like this, put it inside and get the screw in, and you can usually get it to sit fast. But I also have to complain a bit there. Both Arma and HoBao and probably other car makers are using maybe wrong type of screws for plastic. They are using this kind of fine threaded screws. If you can see it here, this is the type of screws they use for plastic, and it's fine threaded, almost like a metal screw, really. So when I got the new HPI Nitro car, HPI Trophy Truggy 4.6, HPI are using, for plastic, they are using screws that are much more bigger threads, both in the thread size really, and the spacing here between the threads. So these screws are, they don't strip that easy, and I think they sit better. So you could also just change from this fine threaded screw to something like this, because it have bigger threads. So I will try this screw first. It's a bit smaller, but I think it's maybe gonna hold. So I'm gonna try this. So that's just saying that maybe the car maker should start to use some other screws for plastic. This is really a metal screw, fine threaded. HPI know what they are doing. Yes, HPI are using the right kind of screws for plastic. So start to use bigger threads when going into plastic. Thank you. So this is how the car looks now. I mounted the front part, the center, motor mount, and the rear part, also the bumper and everything. And now we have to mount this receiver box. The servo mount is going here, I believe, and the receiver box are coming here, and you should still have space to get the motor and the pinion here. Yep, and then we have the battery tray on the other side, and they have the ESC mounted here on the rear part there. So it's still something to mount there. I'll be back. I just made this custom ESC mount. This is the direction it's gonna be in the car. And I'm using the Spectrum ESC. And as you can see, I just used a bit of aluminium here to get the car mounted, because it's a bit wider than the ESC mount from HoBao. So you see this, and if you're going to make something similar, you really understand how it's done. All right. So the ESC is going to be mounted here, and here we have the servo and the receiver box. So I will try to get it in now. . yes, now the car is finished, converted to electric. It went okay. I'm using the Spectrum 150 amp EC from Italian EXP, also the Spectrum 2050 kV motor. Yeah, it was okay, but I'm still having the plugs here on the motor to EC. Maybe you could just remove them and solder directly to get the better use less space here. Also, it's limited which type of 6S batteries you can use. Buggies don't have the biggest space for batteries. This battery 4500 milliamps fits okay. And I mounted the ESC on-off switch here on top of the diff. It was okay room for the servo here, and the receiver box is alright. It's enough space for the pinion, but I'm not sure. I had to use the 14-tooth pinion. I tried a 16-tooth pinion, and this is the arm of pinions, and I sort of couldn't get that to fit. So I'm not sure. Maybe if I bought a HoBao. But okay, I'm gonna run this car now on 14-tooth pinion. That maybe is speed enough for me anyway. I've not mounted a fan on the motor here. It's space enough, but the problem is really that the body is sitting very low. So the body is hitting parts inside the car, so it's not much space really for a lot of different options inside. So I'm gonna try to just use the car now. It's got this fan mount, so that should take some heat, and I'm using 14-tooth pinion as I said, and that also is not the biggest, so I think maybe it's okay. I'm just gonna try it like this. I also lowered the timing on the motor now on the ESC to 0. That also can take away some heat, and the punch level is set to only 2. So I'm just gonna test this car. We are doing just basher racing on asphalt and sand. I've not mounted the side guards yet. I'm not sure if I'm gonna mount them. I can mount on this side, but the screws are you put them in from the inside. And the problem on the other side is that when you're mounted the battery tray and the EC, you cannot get to the screws from the inside. So I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna have a side guard here. If not, I'm just gonna mount it on the last screw and the first screw, but time will tell what is possible here. So that's really all. Now the car is converted to electric, and the parts I told about was the only parts I needed. 4 different parts I had to buy. I had these straps, battery straps, so I didn't buy them, and also had all the screws I needed. You don't get the screws when you buy the battery tray or servo mount. You don't get the screws with these parts. That's not good. Would be nice if HoBao had also included the screws you need. So that's all. The car is converted to electric, and try to run it soon. Thank you. Goodbye.